Hello students, I welcome you all for this second video of Banking Law and Practice. In previous video, first video, we have discussed importance of banks. We have discussed what does it mean by bank. So we have seen that bank is a financial institution that collects money from the public in the forms of deposits and savings. That collected money again bank distributes it amongst the needy people in the form of loans and advances. We have seen why bank is called as a tank of money, because it is said that bank works on the same principle or in the same way how the water tank works. We have seen what is the importance of banking. It is said that banking is the lifeblood of modern commerce. Modern commerce is totally dependent on banking. In any country where there is efficient banking system is there, it will lead to economic development of that country. So we have discussed the importance of banking in the last video. Today in this video we will discuss origin of the term bank. Then we are going to discuss early history of banking, development of banking in England. These topics we are going to study in this second video. Now, origin of banks. What does it mean by origin of banks? What does the word bank means? How this word came into existence? So it is said that the word bank is derived from Italian word banco, French word bank, and Latin word bancus. Now what does it mean by this banco, bank and bancus? The meaning of this is desk or bench. So in olden days, money lenders used desk or bench to exhibit the coins of different nations. So why this word bank is derived from such words, the meaning of which is desk or bench. So in olden days, money lenders used to keep the coins of different nations on these desks and benches. So at that time, the banking system was not very efficient or was not modern banking system. So at that time, the infrastructure how now we have in the banks, that was not available. Buildings were not available. So at that time, the money lenders or bankers used to transact their business, carry on the banking business by keeping benches in the marketplace, and on those benches they used to exhibit the coins of different nations. From these benches, they used to carry on banking business. It is some people say that the word bank is derived from German word Bank or bank, the meaning of which is joint stock fund or common fund. Joint stock fund means we can see that in bank also common fund means money comes from different sources. It becomes a common fund or joint stock fund of the bank, and that collected money which is collected from large number of members, it is again used for financing industry, commerce and agriculture. So there are different origins of this word bank. One is people say that it is derived from Italian word banco, French word bank and Latin word bancus, which means bench or desk. Why bench or desk? So the bankers used to transact the business from these benches which were kept in the marketplace, and because of that the desks means the bank or benches. It also means the common fund or joint stock fund. So this is the origin of the term bank. Now in short we will discuss early history of banking. How the banks came into existence. What was the need of the people which make the banks come into existence? So in olden days, people used to deposit money in the temples. So whenever people used to have excess money means after fulfilling their requirements or after spending their money, what would remain with them, that was surplus money, and people wanted that money should be secure, should be safe. So people started depositing that money in the temples with the priests. Priests used to act as the financial agents. So people used to get security, safety for their money. But slowly people started losing faith in religion, and they found it is not safe to keep their money or deposit their money and valuables in the temple. So they hesitate to deposit the money and valuables in the temple. Because of that hesitation, because of religion losing faith, what happened? Popularity of the temples started diminishing, started reducing. And because of this fact, private banks came into existence. So people used to deposit their money, valuables in the temples with the priests. Slowly people lost the faith in religion and they hesitate to deposit the money in the temple. And this fact made the existence of the bank. Because of this, banks came into existence, private banks came into existence. Now, what is the reason for emergence of private bank? Why private banks become popular compared to temples, etc.? Because what money people used to keep in the temple, they used to get the same amount of money. They used to get only security for their amount. But these private banks started paying interest on this money, whatever they used to collect from the public. So people got security, safety for their money, as well as they started earning interest. Because of this, temple could not compete with the banks and private banks started working on a large scale. So Bank of Venice, which was situated in Italy, is the oldest national bank in the world. Bank of Geneva, Bank of Amsterdam, these are the certain old banks which came into existence. So this is the early history of banking. Now we will discuss development of banking in England. So how banking system started developing in England? So it is said that for developing the banking system in England, two kind of people are very important. One is goldsmith and another is merchant. So it is said that the credit of establishing banks goes to a London goldsmith. There was one goldsmith and the credit of establishing banks goes to that goldsmith. What he used to do? He is considered as the founder of banking system in England. He is considered as the founder of banking system in England. Then what the merchants of London used to do? So daily they used to earn something. Merchants, after carrying on their business, they used to earn something, and at the end of the day, while returning home, they used to deposit their earnings and valuables to the goldsmith. They used to deposit their earnings, valuables with the goldsmith. What goldsmith used to do? Goldsmith used to take the custody of those valuables and earnings, and in return he used to issue goldsmith notes. It was a sort of receipt which was given to the merchants for those articles, valuables which they used to give it to the goldsmith. So this system became very popular in England. Merchants, after carrying on their day-to-day business transactions, whatever earnings they used to earn and whatever valuables they had before going home, they used to deposit it with the goldsmith. Goldsmith used to take the custody of it and give the goldsmith notes. That was the receipt which is given by the goldsmith. This system became very popular in England. Then goldsmith thought why he should keep money idle with him. So that money what he used to get in the form of deposits, why not lend that money to the needy people? Because that money was idle, it was unused. Then goldsmith started lending that money which was lied with him unused. After that, other goldsmiths perceived that, or they thought that why not they should also carry the banking business. So they saw that banking business become very profitable business, and therefore in England majority of goldsmiths started with banking business. Ultimately, joint stock banks were established on the basis of limited liability to banks. Thus, the Bank of England was established in the year 1694. It was the first bank in the world. So this is how banking went on developing and banks came into existence. So initially people used to deposit their belongings in the temple with the priests. Slowly importance or popularity of or faith in the religion started diminishing. Then people start depositing their money in the private banks. Private banks used to pay interest to them, so temples could not compete with the private banks. After that, in England, goldsmiths started collecting the deposits or valuables from the merchants every day. So merchants used to deposit the earnings, valuables with the goldsmith. Goldsmith used to issue them goldsmith notes. That was a receipt for the valuables or earnings. This system became very popular. So goldsmith started lending the money which he had. Then other goldsmiths also started thinking that banking is a very profitable business, and they also started banking business. Ultimately, joint stock banks were established on the basis of limited liability to banks, and thus Bank of England was established in the year 1694. It was the first bank in the world. So this was our second video. In next video, we will have a discussion about origin and development of banking in India, meaning of the terms bank, definition of the term bank, banker, etc. These things we are going to discuss in next video. Thank you very much.